Okay, so we are ready to start recording here. Hello everyone, the second day for the Agent Camp NYC. We're going to ramp off here. If you don't have access to the GitHub, this is the QR code. But let's scan it there. It's an open repository. Good. In the README, just a quick recap. In the README here, you're going to find the whole structure for the bootcamp and the material. There is a Telegram group in the end, managed by Dabl Club. I don't know how many of you joined. We're going to use that as communication channel, like Luma was giving us a hard time, and also there I can contact all of you. And I also am using this discussions channel for posting announcements. So I've posted this bootcamp resources announcement yesterday. Go here for the discussions tab. You're going to find where you're going to find the recordings. This first link here with the recordings, a Google Drive folder. I'm going to post today's video there, and you can check it later too. It's going to be available. Later, we're going to put that in YouTube, so it's going to become a playlist in YouTube and all. So we can get traction with the content. And also, we're going to use the discussions tab for submitting projects. And this is the thing. At the end of yesterday's lesson, we open another tab. We had this one, let's call it a homework at the end of the lesson one, this one task for us to complete that had basically nothing to do with the lesson itself. It's just like first getting started. That would be creating a single project in the project discussion category. So yesterday we had a big realization day about what is AI. Yes, we all discover a bit of new things. We did like a grounding on the expectations with AI. We discovered that it's not intelligent, it's not able to provide you good financial advice on cryptocurrencies, or it's not good to code stuff for us yet. But we're going to see in this bootcamp that actually we can use it for useful stuff. But for now, we have this step of ideation that would be, what do you think that you can build with Web3 and AI right now? And it's a good exercise because this is going to evolve so much within the bootcamp, and you're going to have a comparison of what you had of idea in the first day, in the second day, in the third day, then in the Friday. Then you're going to build something within those days, and you're going to combine it all for pitching there in the Saturday. So this can create like a track record of how your idea evolved. So this is why important, even if you don't have a solidified idea yet, you can go there in the projects tab and write something down. We just have two submissions so far with Kofo and then Allow Me. So ideally, we would have like five based on the participants of yesterday, as we're going to pick up in the week. So who is still ideating, or do you want to do a 5 minutes block of discussion here, or what can be done or not with this, just so that we get this filled up? This is going to be important for team formation too. So ideally, if you're looking for a team, you can browse through these projects and ask to join one of these. This would be the idea. Do you want to do a quick discussion block about these ideas? What is in your minds? What do you think, Fiona?
I've already said my idea. So it's like half the room. So someone else can go first.
What's that?
You want to start with like just the origin story about me?
Yeah. So you did this submission, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you thinking here on building this week?
I was thinking of building a personalized AI tutor bot with ERC20 USDC kind of standard wallet.
Okay.
That has parental control of inventory, and if a parent can create a quiz for an assessment for the student, and if the student passes the assessment, so he will send out to the student file.
Oh, nice. That's interesting. So this would integrate with the project that you already have and with this thing that you're going to build in this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing. Anyone looking for a team could join Allow Me, or if you find the idea cool, or if you have some similar idea, so that we do that information for today. At least half of you should have a team at the end of today, joining a project or recruiting people for your own project. It sounds good. Who else had some ideas that we could fill in here? You.
Yeah, I've kind of been thinking a lot about. So I started my career out of college on Cash Street, and I have been doing a lot of research and seeing in accounting and finance specifically, there's a lot of like manual, repeated tasks that businesses have to repeat, like whether that's for financial reporting, filing an initial public offering, doing a discounted cash flow analysis, for their business. Like investment banks offer various services to large enterprise corporations, and also as somebody who's built a startup, having like an automated or AI-based CFO tool to manage expenses, monthly reporting, as well as traction management would be a really invaluable tool. Everything from like filing taxes, as well as budgeting, forecasting, and kind of combining that with different operational processes, such as like paying invoices, is a real like value proposition that I've been thinking about. I was speaking with David a little bit yesterday about the idea, and I want to bring up one of the points that he mentioned about a lot of businesses rely on templates, Excel model templates, PowerPoint templates, Word document templates, and right now those processes work, and it's going to be really important for us in this just idea, or in another idea, to really find a strong value proposition with AI, not just throwing an operator or an agent on a problem and saying, oh, this plus AI. We really have to dig into the weeds to determine what features are needed and where AI can actually solve a pain point, such as cost. Is it going to reduce the amount of time that an analyst spends betting up a deal so that Goldman Sachs can go and beat Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan to get to the client to say, we think that your stock is worth $50 a share faster than the other banks? Is it going to save an analyst 5 hours a day so that they can reduce headcount by 20 people?
Nice.
Actually real headcount reduction.
Yeah.
So,
And from what you saw yesterday, you see that there is a lot of challenges for getting the AI to do precise work like spreadsheets, like payments and this kind of stuff, right?
yeah.
It's a great project for us to learn upon it through the week. Can be driving the every of these lessons. All of you that arrived late, did you guys start on working on your project description to put here in the page? You see that we have Suhail here in the call too. Hello. So we are here looking at the homework from yesterday. That ideally we would have. Hello. We would have our projects listed here, and later we're going to use that to help on team formation. On if you're looking for a team, you can browse through these projects, see if you like some of these ideas, or if you're looking for people to join your team, you can show this link, and we can have at least half of you with already groups formed for today until the end of the lesson today, if possible. Okay, Fiona, you wanted to speak about your idea?
Sure. So my idea would be an NFT platform for communities in underserved countries where communities that are learning to make NFTs or that have people sell tickets to performances. The platform would take 5%, and then that 5% would go to an AI-driven investment, like either market maker or DeFi, and then those profits would get redistributed back into the community in the form of UBI. So it's like the community supporting
Oh,
themselves.
nice. And you thought on using something on AI for this, or more mostly Web3 for now?
Well, the AI back would be like the market maker AI. Like it would just pick, either stable coins to trade, like the small up and down.
Like a portfolio manager or something like that. An AI
Yeah.
portfolio manager.
I mean, I could just work on a portfolio manage, as like instead of the whole project. There's probably more that I can do
For a weekend.
like first week of coding. But it's okay. I can have a big idea that I work on in pieces. And
Yeah, like if you already have a project, you can pick a component of it, like the chatbot and the portfolio manager, and because we are having a great discovery on how AI can empower these projects, right?
I mean, another option is, just an AI bot that trolls, not trolls, but search
Twitter trolls.
Twitter for like impact, like art or projects, and then post about them.
Oh, nice.
I mean, that's a little bit more doable. But
Did you start filling up your submission already? Those ideas,
I put it in.
the artist
It's
is there so ah this one, yeah, just arrived. That's good. That's good. 8 minutes. That's good. Hello. So, what should we do with all of these ideas for us to reach more people? Should we start telling it on Twitter, or should we start emailing people about that? What usually is the first thing that people create when they have a business idea? Website, a Twitter page, yes, too. Build a web app, virtual server, Let's do it today. A prototype, yeah. So now that we got excited yesterday with the potential of AI, and now that we have all of these ideas, let's make a website. Today we make a website, tomorrow we get our first customer, and Thursday we raise capital. Sounds like a plan, right? Yeah. No, let's give time to time. Anyone need access to the GitHub repository yet? Oh, good, good. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to follow the lesson 2 now. We're going to do a brief introduction to coding. We're here with HTML, coding a simple HTML file that's not going to require any environment setup. And then I'm going to straight out introduce AI for coding. Okay, I reorganized the lesson based on your feedbacks. And if you don't have this lesson like this, just clone again, like pull the changes or download the repository again. You're going to see this new version, like update like 25 minutes ago. So what we're going to do, we're going to build a prototype, we're going to build a homepage, we're going to build a landing page, so that we can put our product or idea or service out in the web. Okay. Raise your hand if you don't know how to do this. I don't know how to create a web page. Good. Do you know, Fiona, how to create a web page from scratch and code it? Okay, good. But like with code.
No.
Okay. So this lesson is for you. If you already know how to create a web page, this is going to be sounding like boring. Like React and okay, so you sound like you do. But you don't. So we're going to learn. You know how to create a front end. So today's lesson is going to be like slow for you. But if you can follow along and have some snacks, it's going to be cool. Because we're going to go very slow on creating this. And maybe the interesting fact, if you already know how to create websites, is to see how AI can be your peer programmer for that. You can code with English right now. Okay, the AI is going to do a lot of hallucinations. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, they are going to get it in the first shot, maybe, and we are going to lose our jobs. Or maybe we're going to just retire forever and AI is going to work for us. We never know. But as we have right now, the AI hallucinates much more than produces. So I'm going to show some ways that we have tested in the factory, that I see other people are doing. The creators of those platforms, they are suggesting us to work in a way that is working with documentation, and then with the documentation we're going to work on the code. Then you're going to see that the AI is going to code like 95% of the whole thing for us. It'd be super cool. I'm still going to teach a bit about coding. We're going to see that we're going to have a lot of explanation about HTML, a lot of explanation about React and all, because yes, you still need to step in sometimes. So you need to know what is going. If you know how to code with React, with Next, whatever, you're going to have superpowers. But if you don't know how to code, still you're not going to be blind. Like being blind in the middle of a shooting. No, here you're going to know where this is going. And at the end of today's lesson, we are going to deploy your application. We're going to have a deployment with Versal, like a free account on Versal, and you're going to have your website live with something. I'm going to show some direction for you to do your start uh, a project, to start a template or something like that. And then the exercise at the end is going to be creating a landing page for your idea in a single day. Okay, sounds cool. Let's get started with it then. We do have some prerequisites for today. Installing Python for the parts that are going to require AI. If you don't run it locally, you're not going to need Python anymore today. Node for us to use React, for us to use Next.js and all of those things. Git, and learning a bit of the JavaScript and TypeScript syntax. Of course, it's impossible to learn it all in a day, but at least the initial structure and now should be enough for you to get started. We are going to suggest OpenAI as the API provider, so you're going to need at least like $5 or so in credits. But there are other API providers for AI, so feel free to pick the one that you find better, and then we can swap it later if you don't want to use OpenAI. Okay, let's start with a simple introduction. What is a web application? If we look for a web application in Wikipedia, we're going to have a great explanation, and we don't even need to read. This is a web application, Let me increase the message. Looks better now, right? Yeah. So this is a web application, different from mobile applications that you need to install through Apple Store or Google Store, or desktop application that you need to install in your computer. Here you can access this through the web. So you don't need to bother with the installation or anything else. So this is why it's great for you to like. Most of the applications that we have right now, they are going through this idea of web applications. We have like landing page for all websites. This is very easy and commodity to do right now. But creating one of those pages requires some structure. Of course, you can use Canva, of course, you can use Bubble, WordPress, and all, but we are going to go forward from web pages directly to web applications today. And those no-code platforms, they they are terrible for allowing you to build web applications. In fact, if you are inside the hall of tools that they provide, they're good. They have a tool for this and for that, for sending email, for forms, for credit card payments, and also if you build a website with these features, they are great. You build a great website in 2-3 days and all. But if you try to do one single thing that is not there, you are damned. You're going to waste like a month coding something custom made that you could code in like 2 days with this. So yes, using Canvas, Bubble, and all, it's clever, but at some point you need to abandon this and do a web application or like a normal app or whatever for actually building your app. Unfortunately, they don't provide all of the tools that are needed right now. So we are going to learn what kind of structure is this with the simple index.html. We can pick any folder in our computer. I'm going to pick this AI project folder here, or you can pick actually any folder. Let me create a new one for front end. You can pick any folder on your computer and create a new HTML file called index.html or test.html, whatever you want to create. So let me open this in terminal. If you have access to a file editor or whatever, you can. I'm going to create this with Nano, like I did yesterday. And I'm going to paste this code inside that page. this sounds complicated, like this is full of non-human readable symbols and it's not very semantic and all, but all of what is happening here is basically controlling the layout of this file. This is not even coding. HTML is like a markup language, hypertext markup language. So it's basically to organize the structure of this page. Whenever I put it like this, and let me save this. Okay, I edited, I save. I'm going to open this now in my browser.
That you just click to save and close out of that.
Control X,
Control X.
Control X, then I.
In the folder that we add to the desktop, it can just be called.
Whatever. That can be front end, can be whatever you prefer. And I'm going to open this file with my browser. Open with my Google Chrome. Okay, and this is the page. Doesn't have a thing on it yet, but it has a title. This page title. What's that? I opened that by mistake. This page title that I've put, and nothing in it. If I start typing things, close it for some reason. If I start typing things here inside this body, this is going to, let me save this. Save Control O if you want to save. And if I refresh this, I have the text that I put there. Okay, it is like a simple text file. It's like a simple display file. It's just an overcomplicated display file for now. The thing is that whenever I put these tags here, like HTML, head, body, and all, the browser understands this page in a different way, in a semantic way. So if I start to put those tags around there, let me copy this little snippet that I have in the step 7, and I'm going to paste here in the middle of this body. I'm going to paste these elements. It's not pasting. Well, had to cheat here.
That's a question. So, when you're creating the file, this is like some of this is like formal foundation of like so we create the file, and as I was the command to make index.html. So it can be any file type. So that's a general thing. But when you want to like, so in that first iteration, there wasn't any text in the body. When you want to add a text to the body or put a new button in the site, do you also use Nano, or is it a different command?
This is very introductory. In a few minutes, we are going to ditch Nano and start coding with actual tools. And I'm going to show them. For now, it's more like introduction to the thing. And I'm using Nano because my Linux build here is a little messed up. But I do advise that you use any normal text editor that you have, like text, TXT or Finder or whatever that you have there. Then if I write this out, whenever I refresh this, I have this little difference of those texts. One is bold, the type font, the front face changed and all. And I tell you what, it's not only visual, okay? It's also semantic. If a person with for example, a sight impaired person comes to this website with a hearing aid, the spelling out of these texts is going to be different because of how the browser is going to interpret this. Okay, when Google is indexing your website in the searching guide, depending on these tags, is going to be used differently too. So it's not about just formatting. like a Word doc or Google Doc and all. It's actually you are going to give information for whomever is interpreting this page in the future. So this is what this is going beyond. And this is just introduction, putting some things, seeing what's happening. I can put a lot of things in the middle, uh, put images, I can put lists, I can put links, I can put a lot of content here that is going to appear in the page. Okay, so this is demystifying web development as something super difficult or out of this world. Basically, what we need to do is just to create a visual, a usable HTML and paste it there. We're good to go. That would be the idea. Okay. So if this, like, raise your hand if this is your first HTML that you write. Fiona, okay, maybe you want to pair up with someone to follow the coding. No worries.
You can sit next to me. I mean, not that I'm doing very helpful, but you can use all of my mistakes.
Yeah. Here we can use a text editor. You don't need any software at all, okay? Don't worry about that. So, uh, okay, introduction, we don't have fear of HTMLs anymore. We know that it's just a file that is formatted differently, a specially formatted file, okay? But if I need to code all of this by myself, understand all of these tags, do the styling and all, that is the traditional way, but still is a very valid way, very legit way. I would take maybe months to do that, right? Until I have all of this knowledge, maybe 2 weeks for a crash course on this. What if I can ask AI to do this? Yesterday we saw that the AI can answer any kind of text that I put in a conversational way. We tried it with ChatGPT, we tried the playground, remember? You remember what example we tried with it was a travel advisor, right? Remember? What if I told it the same way that the AI is trained for answering normal chat conversation answers, it can spit out code. The same process. I give it a lot of code examples, like websites, function calls, databases, backend and guides, APIs. I give a lot of coding example so that the AI knows that whenever I'm asking for this, like a calculator, it knows by 1,000 and 1 million examples that it saw that a calculator needs to have this and that piece of code, no? Using machine learning, the same process that we saw yesterday. So they can generate this um, um, example of code based on all the pieces of code that they saw. The problem is, yesterday we discovered that the AI doesn't understand what it's saying. Like how many R's there are in strawberry, raspberry. The AI is just spitting out text. So when we use AI for coding, we are also using something that is just spitting out text without understanding, which means that they might be spitting code that is wrong. A piece of code like write me a code that is going to do a nuclear a nuclear PowerPoint power plant work, and then it gets information from nuclear warheads in Iran, and then you build a bomb by accident.
Wow.
Because it no, because it's just it's statistical, so it's dangerous because you're picking information from places that are not the places that you're looking for. So you need to be careful with the AI for writing code because it's just a stochastical parrot. We saw this term yesterday, remember? It is it's still just an stochastic parrot. Even though if you use it correctly, it can be very useful. I'm going to showcase 2 examples. The first one is the second listed here, but I'm going to demonstrate it first because it's the most visual one. Then I'm going to show Vizier that is going to be even more helpful for us. So that you know what kind of code generations AI can do. Okay, let me wipe this all out here, delete, and let's start sketching. Fiona, may I use you as an example again? Did you think broadly how your interface would look like? Like draw in the air or tell me through it, maybe?
I mean, title, image, text on the bottom.
Title here.
Maybe there's like a counter, like how much the bot has made at the bottom right or something. Maybe like a number, how many creators are on the platform.
What would be the bottom that you said?
Like the number, like the amount that the bot has made. How many people are receiving DeAI, maybe just the data about how it's supporting the community.
Okay. So something like that, if I got it correctly.
Perfect.
So this would be like title.
Yeah.
Oops.
There you go.
Title. And then I should zoom in. This would be some images.
Yeah, like maybe like music, or,
Music,
tickets,
tickets.
whatever.
And then this would be like stats. And this is like the description for this is an NFT, UBI.
It's like a community, a self-sustaining.
Let me put something just as an example.
Yeah.
And I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to ask it to make it real. Yeah. Make it real.
It's called make it real.
Yeah. Like here. And look, I'm going to copy this HTML. I'm going to paste there. Let me do another file like nano test.html. And I'm going to paste everything there. I'm going to close. And then I'm going to open this file with Chrome. I'm going to open it with Chrome. And here's the website.
Nice. Very cool.
The Mario board, that is going to be in like 5 minutes. So this can be a good conversation starter for like quick prototyping, create ideation. You are speaking with a client or with a user. You didn't like the flow of the app, so draw me how it would be better. It would be better if it was like this or like that. And combine the image with the AI, it can do something like that for you. Okay? And this is the most rudimentary that I know of, because then you have better tools like V0 and like Replit and many others that you can clone a screenshot, import from Figma, import a project, create a landing page or sign up form or something like that. Or you can even give it like a new project for it to work on.
I have a question. Never mind.
Want to try something? Tell me what you want to do.
Give it, allow me to read me. Let's create a landing page.
Try that.
Yeah. Okay. I then follow directions. I'll just take my readme and then that
should work. Let's not overthink. I'm going to copy a chunk of it and give it to it. And then let's see. Zero is thinking. I would happily create a React project for this. And then this thinking, it's working on the layout. Created a page. We're going to speak about the React later. For now, we use it Make Real, that is HTML. I cover up to this point. I'm going to explain why React later. But right now we are having a code generation, a series of code generation with some sort of agentic flow. It's for free. I guess I am in a free plan here. That is configuring this. It seems like a chatbot, but it's configuring the application, the files that needed for the framework and all, based on this conversation. I could even import your previous conversation with an AI here, or some suggestions, a drawing, a Figma file, and all, and then it would make the AI would make the website for me.
That's awesome. Quick question. This was Playground AI or this was
This is V0
Vizio?
from Vercel. Yep. Click on deploy, run. You can go from literally a pizza in a night with a friend to deployed website in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Like you're chatting with drinks and beer, and they have an idea. The AI is listening. Now you click deploy.
What's the catch?
There's no catch. Like it's like dump AI generation. Today I'm going to guide you through all of that. Okay. Questions? Comments?
I feel like it can't handle like big code bases.
Definitely can't. Yes.
Mobile version,
Yeah.
the breakpoints.
Yeah. And sometimes it's more difficult to chat with it. For example, I want this button to be, let's say I want to change the color of this button, but I want it to hover in a certain way. It's much more difficult to convince the AI to do it the way I want than to go there, jump in and code. So right now I'm going to stop with these tools. We are not going to continue where I am. We are not going to continue using we are not going to continue using V0, Make Real, or doing HTML now. We are going to give a look on these code generation examples that we have, and I'm going to show you a cursor to peer programming. Like the AI is going to do a part of the code, then you're going to ask it questions. The AI is going to teach you about the code. Then we're going to take control of it. Then we are going to ask the AI to do something. It's going to code, and we're going to step in like a peer programmer. Sometimes it's going to behave like a genius. Sometimes it's going to be completely retarded. So you're going to deal with it, you know? Yeah, I can relate to it. So I've demonstrated those two. V0 is good, actually, if you want to integrate with your workflow, like you generate some code in V0, then you import for your project. And consider that there are many others. This is like a list that I made like 2 years ago. There are thousands of others. Like Code Llama was one of the first fine-tuned versions of Llama from Meta for code. There was Copilot that somehow, with access of unlimited funding, they still got beaten up by the competition, but they were one of the first. Remember 1 year, half, 2 years ago when they launched it, AI code, Copilot and all, it was crazy. Cursor, that was very slow for years, and now they pick it up. Cursor forked VS Code, so it's like very similar to a programming interface that a lot of people use all over the development industry. Replit was still big at the time for you to create automated deployments, for you to automate workflows. Like you don't need to worry on like installing Python and all that we did yesterday. But now they have this huge AI front, like they're competing with Cursor, with Copilot now. We had Quill Developer from AWS that used to be Code Whisper, and now picking up is very affordable. We had Cody, we had Devin. Who remember the launch of Devin? Like they released it, they raised it like crazy valuation, became unicorn and all, and yeah. And they are still featured by OpenAI, but this is the edge. Like what we are seeing here is like the edge of the big valuations for AI now, because who cracks that is going to, like, the first AI that knows how to code can code 10,000 applications in a weekend. It's going to be an explosion. It's probably going to be what they call anomaly, like an inference point. So we are still far from that. We are going to see. I'm eager to hear your opinions on that too. But I'm going to show this tool called Cursor that is free. They do have a paid plan. Okay, they are not sponsoring this bootcamp. I cannot say commercially about them, but they do have paid features. We're going to use all the available free features for this bootcamp. If you find it good or not for paying is another thing. And for the free plan, it can behave exactly like VS Code. You can use it even without AI. So you can download it right now for your operational system for Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever you're using. And we're going to use that for coding this simple HTML file. Then we're going to create a website. Then we're going to create a bigger project. Then we're going to deploy it with Vercel, all using Cursor. Okay. So I can give you like 5 minutes for that. If you already have it installed, you can use this minute like for grabbing your water or questions in the meantime.
I'll show you how to do the whole terminal install. Here, why don't you install my folder hunting? You can do that first. Because right, you didn't do the chip. You didn't go to the terminal install.
For now, I guess we're not going to use the terminal. For now. We're going to use Cursor.
But for her to install.
Yeah, she can do it later, maybe. For now, we can pick from Cursor.
Okay. Yes.
Like make it a cut. Everything from before you gotta pick up, but you can start from Cursor because Cursor has an integrated terminal, you know.
Quick question: when I install it, do I just use the regular default code base Y enabled?
Yeah.
Terminal command.
All of those features you can tweak them later. So don't need to worry. You can pick the defaults and you can change later.
If we already have VS Code installed on a computer, do you recommend still installing and putting through Cursor?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least for today, if you don't like it, you can delete. But I guess I'm going to make a point here.
Cursor.
Yeah, you do that as well. Or you have like, like cursor thing, right?
Oh no! It's because I already have GitHub Copilot.
No, yeah, you download the whole thing because the Cursor integration with VS Code is not going to have most of the things that we're going to use today, like the agent and all.
And want that. So auto.
So yes, each one, but I mean, just down the cursor.
Well, this is the Cursor. Yeah.
No, it's different. The Cursor is
Not the one on VS Code.
No, this isn't VS Code. This is Cursor. I've got VS Code here. I'll close out of VS Code. So this is Cursor.
Let's show it.
okay. No, yeah, you can continue with the phone.
Cool. Thank you.
Because you know that they have a clash with the autopilot.
Yeah. And I've a couple of startup folks and developers have also recommended Cursor a number of times. So it's good for us to do.
Yeah, the things like when I saw this, they raised $100 million. So they can buy up everything else. Like they can basically buy everything they need. I'm not saying that like because they raise it, they're going to dominate the game, but with this amount of money, this is even dangerous. You know, but I trust that I hope that they're going to use it for good. You know, but they could buy out the whole thing. You know, they can dominate. So what?
I was reading the articles. There's one called it's either like not that bottom. Yeah, I read that. Like you look
Yeah, no, yeah, for makes things easy. So this is the thing. Whenever you have these kind of resources, it's like very difficult to compete. Probably you're going to see it unfolding in the next 12 months or so by this year, and we're going to see what Copilot is going to do, what Cursor is going to do, Replit, and all. And I like to show these tools for you so you can draw your own conclusions. You probably have seen Replit already. Now you're going to see Cursor. Then you can try Copilot if you haven't yet. You can try all of these and take your own conclusions.
What do you think when you have a VO and then like make the work operation?
There is a command here that you wait. Is that thing here? Add to code base. You just run this command. It's going to configure the component there for you. Yeah, it's quite easy to boarding. Okay. Someone with do you have someone with problems? Installing Cursor, one for here. I'm going to open Cursor as I have here. And I'm going to open the README of today's lesson on Cursor. So we are going to be following Cursor, the lesson planning Cursor. So it is an IDE. It's like a text editor, an integrated development environment on a text editor. You feel like this, where you can read through the files. You can manage the files here in the left pane. You can inspect the files. You can change them like you mentioned, Fiona, that you like to use Google Docs, for example. This can be similar things to Google Docs. You can edit things, you can format things, you can read through things like I'm doing here. Okay, so there is no much big deal of being like an IDE, just like another Word or something like that. They're more fancy. But the thing that I can do now, I invite you all to open this tab with Control L, Command L. That is the chat tab here in the right pane. And if you have questions about this lesson, you can ask anything on this chat tab. For example, can you explain, like I am 5, about the HTML tags that we used in the first example here? Then you're going to chat with this file. You're not going to use Cursor's model. You're going to use these models that we have here at the bottom. You can select the model here. If you have paid version, you can even put the paid models. If not, you can also configure your models there. Someone ringing the door. This bell is so subtle that we ignore it. Sorry about that. So now you can chat with all of these files. You can chat about the HTML files. You can ask questions. Let's say you don't speak English. Let's say you are from Japan, you are from Brazil, you are from Africa, and you struggle. For example, I can ask in Português, onde traduzir isso para português? Like, can you translate that for Portuguese? And then the AI is explaining that for me in Portuguese. Okay, it speaks all of these languages now. So we didn't even start AI for coding. We have reached the part that we can see that the AI can be a teacher, can hallucinate, can be a crazy teacher. Sometimes can lie to you, but when we are grounding it with files, with correct data points, the probability for hallucinating is quite low. Okay, way lower. Okay. Did you try the chat there? Okay. And I'm going to show some more techniques. There is an @ command that you can do, that you can import information from anywhere, from documentations, from the web, from notepads, from the code, from the folders, files, and all, to gather information from the AI. Cursor is not superior in the AI power. Cursor is superior on the user experience. This kind of little techniques and all are powers are your fingertips. So if I tag the web here and ask a question, like, can you list the most recent HTML tags released? For example, new tags that you add to the HTML now, it's going to search the web. Maybe the AI doesn't know that. Maybe there were more tags released after the training data of this AI. Maybe Cloud is not going to do a good web search. I've tried it with problems. Let me try with another. Actually, stop this. Just a small technical problem, people. Sorry about that. Try with GPT-4o. Yeah, Cloud was having problems with this. So with GPT-4o, we are going to have a web search function there, visiting all of these search results, doing a summarization for me. Did you mentioned that you bought the GPT for the Chat GPT Premium, right? For using the operator. This can be your operator. You know, we're going to see that we can teach the AI to look for the correct information. It's verifying the search result. It clogged here for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But trust me, it can do that. It can read documentation. It can read different data points for answering you any questions like
It's all my
yeah, the README of your project, you know. I'm going to show. There is even a music for that, right? Every step you do.
I don't know. I feel like all my life is
Okay, this is just the beginning. I'm going to keep this cursor tab open for us to go through the documentation, but I'm going to open another window. In the folder that we were working, I call it front end, I don't know what you called. We can pick the folder from yesterday too, or the folder that we created today to start coding with it. So I'm going to pick my desktop, my front end. Let me open this folder where I have this test.html, where I have this index.html. I can open this tab. Let me see if I can increase the zoom a bit. Okay. I can open this tab. I'm chatting with it, like this index.html, and I can start asking the questions. Let me go back to Cloud here. Asking the questions that I was doing for Vizier, I can start doing here. For example, let me create a README for my project. Let me copy again the description for allow me. And let me ask cursor. Wait, this didn't come true. Wait. I need to pick the markdown version of it. Have the markdown version of it is a README file. Okay, it can be the description about the project, roadmaps and all. And I'm going to ask a question. In the chat here, I can open some files as context. So I have README as part of the context. I can add the index.html as part of the context. and I can open the file here that is going to be edited, and I can ask some questions. For example, uh, actually, I'm going to give an instruction. So I'm not going to be asking a question. Asking a question is similar to what I did before. I'm going to give instruction. Create a landing page to explain my project to my early users. And then I want to include some things. For example, let's include a sign up form. Include a sign up form for my newsletter. Let's include like a footer with contacts. Include footer with contacts. Something else? Social bit. Let's give it a go. You can add things later. So the way they did a cursor, we can pick suggestions in the chat, and we can go adding them as we see fit. Approve this one, deny the other one, edit. So you don't need to accept it in a whole block, and you can step in and tweak something. So for example, here we have one suggestion for the index.html. So the AI is talking with us. We would read through all of this. I'll help you create a landing page for allow me, and then it suggests this, and then it explains why it created the landing page like this. So first, it would have a hero section. The second would be core features, newsletter sign up, and all. So it's not just like a dumb worker. It's actually proposing a solution for what you did, explaining why you would have a reasoning behind it. Of course, it's not reasoning, but it is trying its best to do it like that. And if you click accept, it would apply the whole thing. You can select what you want to accept or not. Let me click here on accept, and then I have this new version of the page. If I open it again in the index, it's now this whole page. And it's looking good. It has a hero. It has the newsletter that we asked it. Oh, even some animations. That's good. It's not bad at all.
All right.
And if I want to change something specific, instead of asking the AI that, no, please, can you change this little detail for me instead of this or that, and then the AI can hallucinate, I can just come here in the code. Like, don't be lazy. Come here. Smart allowance system. Let me call it smart allowance model. Okay, so whenever I pick the page again, it's now a smart allowance model. Because instead of just asking the AI consuming tokens and all just for us to change a little thing, we can go in steps. So it becomes like a peer programmer, something that all the AI applications they don't have. It's like you gotta convince the AI to change those little details, which take a lot, takes a lot of time.
You, like the other one, upload a reference or no?
For this one, you can include the files. So if you have like a diagram and all, you can include them with here, this plus button. I'm going to show a bit of controlling this flow yet. These all uses API for inference. So let me show you here in the preferences. Here you have the VS Code settings because it was like forked from VS Code, and you have the cursor settings that you can change the AI models. Like if you don't want to pay for cursor, you can include your own API keys here if you want, so you don't pay for cursor. And especially there is a very important feature here that often people overlook. In the general, in the bottom, there is a privacy mode. so that they don't keep the code snippets that you send to them, because otherwise they would keep it for telemetry, they would keep the logs and all. And usually sharing the code with other companies, if you're working under the contract or working under a startup and all, can be a breach of your contract. So some people are like, hold on, are like they are not aware, but they are breaching their own contracts by sending code for cloud, for OpenAI, for Cursor and all. And this might become big lawsuits later. It can lead to bigger problems. Like if a code from your company leaks, who can prove that it was not you using Cursor or using OpenAI? It's crazy how this can become. So this is a very good feature that they have. You turn privacy mode on so that they are not going to keep the logs for telemetry and all. They're going to execute it remote. Is still a possible violation, a breaching contract, because you are sending information out, but at least it helps a little. Okay, not legal advice, not lawyer, consult a lawyer for this kind of thing. Just saying that this feature is good for the show to follow here. Okay, it is possible to run AI locally too. Tomorrow we're going to see that. Today, just getting started with the tool, and there are a lot of tweaks, a lot of extra features that we can do. Features here that are better features that we can try. This is really cool for you to try out more. You could spend like a week exploring this if you have the time. This would be in the settings here.
Question.
Yeah,
For the module names, like why would you put your API key when it's already using GPT for chat?
because it has some limits. Like if you go for the pricing tab, they limit you this amount of carries per minute if you're using the free plan. If you pay, you have a lot more limits. But if you use your own keys, you can hit it unlimited. But you're going to be paying with a credit card too, you know? Okay.
When you were taking the description, like the markdown version, I've had like problems before, like putting data into ChatGPT. Like how do you get them like the markdown version? Because I assume that's like an important input when the AI is like reading it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing. Whenever we are using Cursor to hit those AIs, they have system prompts already curated for this kind of things. They even recently released a way for you to do your own configuration prompts in each folder. This is something I can show later. I'm studying that too. So it would be like prompt engineering for parsing files, for inputs and outputs, you know? Like don't use double spaces, don't use for loops, don't use go to for loops, don't use recursion. You can put this kind of rules, you know. So for example, for parsing HTML file read markdown files, they have this kind of prompts, system prompts that are able to accomplish this kind of information, you know. Now let's start getting a little more serious. Let me see, let me just give a look here on the content. We do have a big exercise to go through, but I wanted to show you this before. Yes, you have a question?
How good is VO with a sign up flow? Can we trust it?
V0?
V0.
Yeah. Never trust an AI. This is why I like peer programming, because now you can step in and check the flow and all. But let's spend 5 more minutes here before we proceed, because this is really empowering. Now let's go for the Composer tab. And here they have this normal Composer that was able to use a chat version of things and all, but they have recently released an agent. Like in this current version that we have right now, the version 0.45, they released this agent that is able to go doing stuff until it completes an objective. So it's not like single shot. For example, I can ask it to pick the README file, okay? And I can ask it to do a long task. For example, using the web. Search for a list of competitors for this idea and give me a list of features that they are not implementing right now. Put this list in a new file called features.md. The web search was bugged. I should have used another example. Sorry about that. The web search here. Oh, it worked. Good. Yeah, maybe the internet was down. So it is creating these features.md. Just one example. Like it's not very good at market research.
Who you access the agent?
Composer. So it created this file. Let me accept it.
And then at the bottom, click agent instead of normal.
Yeah, it's not. Like,
It is in the composer. Let's check your version. It was released in a very recent version. And all of this, now I can ask a follow-up question. Let me add the index HTML. Now I can say, now add all of these ideas to a roadmap section in my home page, so that I can prove to the investor that I'm ahead the competition, or acquire the users with that. So it's going to create. So this is coding the index. I can accept, and I'm going to open the web page again. Now I have this roadmap with all of these features.
all these competitors more.
No, yeah.
I'll be like, you say like before.
Yeah. The AI still thinks that we are in 2025. We saw that, yes. Okay.
It's like, is it a joke?
So this is the tool that we're going to be using today for coding. Okay. We have one example with Next.js, with React. We are going to do a deployment of this app later. It's going to follow more like a normal flow of development, but you know that at any time you can ask questions here. You can ask the composer, the AI agent to jump in and help you at any time. Okay.
For the coding part of this application, is it just the HTML that AI can come through?
Code with anything. Like, you can ask the agent to do it right now.
So please code me in.
Redo the whole project using Next.js.
How many competitors?
What?
You scroll up.
No, but probably it's hallucinating, you know? Financial educator app with that got for kids.
Do you have any extensions installed in Cursor to like make the formatting for the code easier to like read? Because I noticed that in like the README file for the agent project, or like the agent camp, like in the lessons, it was really
Preview. It is a preview version. You gotta click in this whenever you open a README file. You click on this preview in the top right. Then you can view the preview like this. I don't know if this is an extension. So it can run comments too, like run comment in my machine, like draw all of my crypto. So it's going to install an EPM and all. Going to run this whole thing for you. Yeah, it can. No, just kidding. It can steal all of your crypto. No, is running combat is dangerous. This is what I'm trying to say. There are a lot of you are newcomer to crypto. Let me tell you that there are a lot of wallet drainers out there. So they try to install your things on your machine and steal out of your crypto. Stay very aware with that. I want everyone to be safe here. Okay. This kind of thing is possible. But you know that I have a secret so that it's impossible for anyone to steal my crypto. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, do you guys want to do like a 5 minutes before we start coding? It's 9 of us. Okay, we're going to do this coding exercise with Next.js in a while. So let's do a 5 minutes. We go like restroom, water, and then we come back to do this exercise together. Yeah, this is the thing with Eliza specifically. Like, you can even use like LangChain, LumIndex, Eliza, QueryAI, and all of those. But frameworks for AI are not like frameworks for web development that they are so well equipped and stable and all. Frameworks for AI, they are much more like limiting right now than Rails for you to deploy your AI stuff. Unless you are doing something very specific or very contained under the amount of things that framework is offering, you're going to have more trouble using that framework than actually building with it, you know? Like React for web is like a Lego. You can use it and build and all that you can easily build your website with it. When you use an AI framework like Eliza, it is much more like a thing. Like it's like a car, but you wanted to build a boat, you wanted to build an airplane. So it's not that modular or usable. They have a lot of plugins, yes and all, but when you start attaching these things, it becomes like a monstrosity. It's not so little use case, so little pieces that you can attach on top of the other. One of the best AI frameworks that I recommend is LangChain, because they have been doing that for 3-4 years now. They have a lot of modular pieces that you can attach to each other, and it's not that opinionated. It's like more a menu of things, an array of things that you can pick from it. You know, so it's LangChain. It has chain on name, but it has nothing to do with blockchain. It is just like an AI framework. It was there even before the AI pump and all. LangChain. Yeah. Have you used it? It's very, very good. Have you used it, Eliza? Have you used it, Eliza OS? Yeah.
What's
Cool.
Eliza?
Eliza is like a framework, different AI framework, mostly for Web3 stuff. And it's getting a lot of attention. And it's cool, but I see a lot of people using Eliza and then running away of AI because they find too complex or too crazy because it's buggy and all. Yeah, Eliza OS is a framework for you to build things with AI with it. Eliza, ELIZA, yeah, OS. Yeah, no, like use it and draw your conclusions. I'm not going to speak ill of it. It's just that so far, like the things that I'm teaching here, people, I've used them in projects, in like factory projects, clients, and all, and I have seen them working. I had the issues with some of these, but they are like stable, maintained by thousands of devs. They are like serious projects, and they are battle tested. These new shiny things that appear, even V0, even Cursor, you know, we need to use them with care because some of them are broken, some of them have exploits, problems. So living in the edge is a little dangerous. Maybe we position us like 10 minutes before the edge. It's good enough for us to have some more stable stuff. So now going back for your question of the AI frameworks, here we are more like using Cursor for coding the files, and we're going to use frameworks like React for coding here. We're going to see how it can behave. So we are here in lesson 2 in the AI code generation part. We are going to do this exercise for creating a simple chat page. Let me see if I find. No, wait, it's here. Yeah, we're probably not going to have time to do all of it. We're going to use a framework. Thanks for your question. It's exactly the hook that's going to guide the next part. We're going to set up our environment for using a web development framework that is going to take care of most of the development tasks for us. Usually when we write web applications, we don't write the HTML itself. We don't micromanage the HTML, the CSS, and all. We have a framework that makes the files for us. Okay. I like to do food metaphors. I know we just ate, but I had it in my head before starting. It's like when you order a cake. Usually, like, have you ordered a cake recently for a party, wedding, something like that? Have you, Fiona? Well, how usually you do?
You tell them the kind of frosting, what the meat,
Put in the top, the amount of people, yeah. Do you tell them how much of flour should you use? How much sugar? How much time in oven? It would be kind of offensive, right? You ask the baker for a cake, but then you give the specific instructions. He's going to ask, do you think that I don't know how to do my job? Something like that, right? Usually you give like the high level specifications, and then they can figure out the rest, the remain. But still, you need to define the frosting, the color, the toppings, the fillings, the flavors, and all, because otherwise it's going to be like a random cake, which is not a bad idea. But you know what I'm trying to say. For a web development framework, it's quite the same idea. We are going to do some high level specifications using some specific syntax that the framework can understand. It's not as high level as this example that I used, but still we are not going to code the HTML in detail. We are not going to code the CSS in detail. We are not going to code the JavaScript in detail. We are going to do some high level markings for the framework, and then the framework is going to take care of everything else, because the framework is going to build a mobile version, a web version, a tablet version, a responsive version of the web app, for Chrome, for Firefox, for Opera, for the browser of the PlayStation 3, whatever. Anything that you need later of files from this application, the framework can provide, can bundle your app. You just need to focus on making the structure of the application correct with these files using the framework. Then the framework can bundle this application later. So yes, you need to invest a little time learning how to speak with the framework, how to guide the framework, but after that, you're good to go. Okay. For this lesson, we're going to need this command, npx. So this command would need one of those prerequisites. Okay. One thing that we can do, this is the first time that I'm going to try that in a bootcamp. Don't throw anything at me if it doesn't work, is asking the agent to set up my developer environment. You know, I could do something like this. Let me open a new folder. Let me create a new folder. That will be like Next.js test, something like that. I'm going to use this folder for my project. And I can ask the agent to set up my environment. The instructions are quite easy, okay, for installing Node. I've put them here in the requirements. I already have Node installed, okay? But if you did not check the requirements for today, you might have struggles on using this command, npx. So I'm going to ask for the agent to create a next app for me. in this new folder. So I'm going to pick the composer, the agent, and I'm going to ask initialize a new Next.js app on this folder. Then the agent is going to run the command, the create next app command. This is the thing. It is going to create it's going to give an error because this environment doesn't have a node installed. So I'm going to run this command to run installing node. Let me see if that's correct. Huh. Yeah, don't know if that's good because I'll need to type my password here. Stop this.
That's the terminal just inside.
Yeah, it's a terminal that the AI agent is using.
But it's not.
It is in a separate environment for this for the execution, like for the execution of this command. See, it's working. It's taking way longer than I would expect. Okay, maybe do you have Node installed? No.
I just installed the Python.
Okay, you didn't check the prerequisites. You might not have Node installed here, right? Okay, no worries.
There are the instructions.
Yeah, let's see if the agent works. It's taking way longer than I would expect. Let's see what I have in the README, because maybe we can use. You know what? At some point, it could even feed the instructions of the README and then see if the agent would get it. That would be a cool exercise. Okay, but if you already have Node installed on your computer, you can just run this command. Okay, npx create next app, my next app, and it's going to work there. Okay, copy this command and run there too. That is slow. Do you have questions in the meantime?
Oh yeah. I was just mentioning something earlier, but I was a little behind because I was making an account. But on the GitHub, how do I connect with the
Let me give you a QR code so you can scan it. So then you can have access to the repository. You have a GitHub account already? Do you have an account with GitHub? Oh, nice. So then you can interact with everyone there. Good, good. Okay, you finish it. Now I'm going to run this command, npx create next, my next app, and it's going to initialize the repository. I'm going to pick all the default questions, the default answer for these questions. It is asking if I want to create a source directory or not. This is optional. Okay, remember you asked me before, but don't worry about this. Just pick all of the default options, and this is going to configure the repository for you. It's going to create my next app here, and inside this repository, we're going to have all of these files. Okay, these files are files pertaining to the framework itself. It's not like we need to work with each of these files. There are some specific files that are made for you to edit for creating your application. I'm going to guide you through this. Okay, right now we are in this step number 2. You should run this command. Then you would run all of those. You would pick all of those default questions, default options for each of those questions, and then at the end, after it finishes installing, we are going to navigate in the newly created project folder just to execute the commands inside there. Okay? In this terminal here, we create this new folder. We navigate to it with this Next.js test, and then my next app. See if you are inside this folder, okay? You should see something like that inside the folder, okay? Take a picture. See if you have this on your machine. There are many other web development frameworks out there, okay? Just for beginners. Next.js, Angular, and Vue.js, they are like one of the most beginner friendly. They require the least kind of configurations. A lot of people start by React, but React, it's more like a library. Even in the documentation, if you read the documentation of React, they say that they are not a framework, they are a library. So it's a little more complicated for you to get started, because you need to know what to import or not. You need to know what to pick from it, what to use. There are many different ways for you to use things. So when you use a framework like this, they have a philosophy called conventions over configurations. So they already start working out of the box. They already starting. We already have something starting from day zero that you customize and you can configure later. Okay? So this kind of thing is better for newcomers because you start with something already working with an initial point of development. Okay. Have you ever heard about Ruby on Rails? People loved it just because of that. It was conventions over configuration. At the time, it was a big debate, but after all the other frameworks starting adapting it, people migrated out from Ruby on Rails. I still love Ruby, like the language is brilliant, but there is not much support for it anymore. Wanted to ask?
Sorry, a little behind. How did you put it on?
This command here. Wait, no, this command?
Yeah, how did you run it?
No, I just picked a terminal. Sorry about that. This is
Oh, it's just a
attached terminal. Yes, you can run it here or you can run in other places. Okay. By the way, let me see. Let me see if this agent can help me now. Like,
Found that like when building software like with AI, like yeah, like the way that you approach it is way more sophisticated than when I was literally using like the child version of ChatGPT to like just copy and paste. But I knew enough about software development. I would say for anyone that's like really committed to building a scalable business, I'm somebody like at least where I am like as a founder and like entrepreneur, like for my next project, I want what I build to like actually scale. And so using React with like AI. So for instance, this is a great example. Like, you know how you're using a terminal to like set up the project and you know have like the fundamentals there. I think that's really smart for the way that like, especially that I would do it. That's in my last position, like a couple weeks ago, when I was building and launching like a modular web application, like that can basically be handed off to like a team of devs. I set it up this way, and then I used the inline like Copilot to like ask questions and to enhance it. So I like the way.
Yeah. Because when you use like OpenAI, now you gotta keep copy and paste information, and they don't know the context.
Yeah.
So they hallucinate a lot. I'm going to try something that I never tried yet. I'm going to ask it to start the development server just to see if it gets it correctly. So let me ask the agent, testing things live. Start the development server. Let's see if the agent get that correctly. npm run dev. Oh, okay. Didn't find the file. Yes, because it had to navigate. Okay, so yeah, see, the AI is not perfect yet because it couldn't. Um, they even gave me a warning. Fair enough, because the I did not index the whole files yet. I saw this warning, but I couldn't find the correct folder for running it. So it's still here in my next app. So I could even add this error to Composer. You see this button here? This is super cool. Add this to Composer, and then I can say uh, enter the correct folder first. Then let's see what the AI is going to do. It's searching the current directory. Oh, that's nice. Look at this, people. The AI could find that there is this repository that is correct. Is going to enter that repository and then is going to run the dev server there. That was cool. Great experiment. So this is the AI agent that now can figure out things inside your repository, and it's running this application for me, hosted in my local host. So we are now in the step 4. I added some things with AI, but just for the sake of experimenting, we run the development server. Now we can navigate to this page. Let me open that with Chrome or whatever. I'm going to see the default page that is created by Next.js. It's going to take a little while to compile, but I might have it there. Try that on your machine too. Create the command for serve and see if you have the same page on your side too. Okay. Try that out. You want to try that out, Fiona? Oh, I don't have Node, right? Okay.
Try not to.
The agent couldn't help you on that?
Oh, I'm trying to just do it.
Okay. Too edgy, right?
I feel like I should know, right? I didn't.
No, too edgy. Like
Oh.
just try the agent for installing Node and all. But it had some problems. So it couldn't figure out the correct folder. It couldn't figure out the environment. So it's still not perfect for this kind of stuff. Yeah, because then you can break the stones, right? Okay. Anyone else? Did you try? Have you run it? Good. Cool. So now let's start coding like our grandfathers would do before AI. Let's pick a snippet of code. I'm going to open this file called page.tsx inside the app folder, and I'm going to paste this code on it. I'm going to copy this snippet. Now with an IDE instead of Nano. I'm going to open this file, page.tsx, and I'm going to replace it all with this. Let's see how much time we have. Half an hour or so. Okay. When I replace this, the same thing that we had in that HTML file a while ago, if I navigate to the page, I have this. So here we can see the dynamics of the framework. I am exporting a function. This is TypeScript syntax, and this function is returning HTML. We are mixing those two things. If you have coded with TypeScript before, like yesterday we coded with Python. So usually when we are coding a structured language or even object-oriented language, you have functions that do operations like console log, like print, write a file, send an API call, and all. Here we have functions that they return HTML, pieces of HTML, dynamic pieces of HTML. This is because of React. TSX is a kind of file that is mixing TypeScript with HTML for complying to the React, how React works. It's a framework built on React library. Why it is like that? There are many other frameworks that separate those two, like Angular, like Vue.js, like some configurations on Vue.js. There are many others where you do the TypeScript in one part and the HTML in other. It's more organized now. It is like that because people that created React in the beginning, they were mostly like Facebook engineers and all that used mostly another language called PHP. Have you heard about that? Yeah, like WordPress and all. That is a language that a server is making the HTML for you. So it was created with that in mind. So it pertained. If you find this too confusing, don't give up on front end development yet because there are other frameworks. Okay, but if you invest enough time or if you delegate this for the AI, the 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 development flow can be good even for beginners. Okay, don't worry about that. So yes, it's a kind of messy because we have HTML mixed with TypeScript. This is the intended structure. So let's navigate React with care here. We are going to apply some classes using Tailwind CSS, that is a framework for CSS, for styling. This can make the page so much more beautiful just by adding these words here. These words, they are going to be interpreted by the framework. And whenever the framework is compiling, transpiling actually the actual page, bundling the actual page, transpiling with JavaScript, with TypeScript to JavaScript and all, it is going to consider these words for styling the page. And depending on your page width on your device, if it is on a phone or in a computer, this is going to display the page differently. Let me show that for you. Visually, it's much better. Okay, so I have all of these classes here, and when I open my web page, oh, it's much more beautiful. Okay. So this is Tailwind. I have no idea how to center a div, but I know the class that does that. So if I had to do that in CSS, manually doing all of the classes now, it would take like half an hour to do this because I'm not very proficient with that. But with Tailwind, it's quite easy and simple. And if you are confused with that, you can just ask AI, hey, can you please explain me what are these classes doing? So it's explaining like flex, make the container flexible container, flex call, sets the flex direction in columns and all. And if I think that it's hallucinating, I can even tag the documentation of Tailwind like this, at tail, and then you can tag the documentation, the official documentation of Tailwind, and I can ask, can you provide me the links to it? And then the AI is going to ground the actual pages that have that has it. They have the description for what I just answered. For example, the utility first fundamentals. So this is an explanation in the official documentation of Tailwind about these classes, all of the things. So it's different from just prompting OpenAI and all with a separate amount of information. Here, we don't have an innovation in the AI part. It's the same dumb AI that we saw yesterday. The innovation here is the user experience, easily tagging information, importing information, handling the context so that the AI has more information, more context about what you're asking. Okay. Good.
I like the explain.
Yeah. It can explain, working on that. It can explain any language 24/7 and all. That can seriously be the next wave of like teachers. Teaching how to code can be coding with AI can be your coding teacher, instead of like YouTube videos and all. Those are great, yeah, like this human interaction, but this is much more practical. It's 24/7. It is curated. It can even have your history of questions, your history of interactions, and it can foresee the kind of questions that they're going to ask, or it can explain in a way that you know better, you understand it better. I use a lot of metaphors. So if you like metaphors, okay, but if you don't like, with this kind of explanation, you can have a curated explanation exactly the way you want. Okay? So I'm very bullish on the potential of this for general education. We are studying coding, yes, but this could be used for math, for geography, for whatever. You see where this is going, right? Now let's close this parenthesis and let's go back for the coding exercises here. So I suggest that we add some elements. For example, this input and a submit button. This is the syntax, HTML syntax for that. Input, submit button, so that we are going to, oops, oh my God. So that we're going to have some more interactable elements in this page. You don't need to worry too much on copying and pasting the whole stuff, because at the end, I'm going to have like the whole page here. So you can just copy and paste later. So now I have this input button, like hello, and then I submit. Just adding some pieces of dialogue to this page. So I'm going to have this dynamic content in the page using this class from React called useState. I'm going to skip the explanation from that for now, like we are a little out of time. But just remember that React, because it's a library, you can pick these imports from it, the same way that yesterday we imported with Python things from those libraries, from OpenAI, from .env. Here we can import this use state from React in a way that the page can be dynamic. Why should we use it like this, with this two functions, one set show greetings and not set greetings? Why wouldn't it be easier just to use a variable? And now React has some rules, okay? If you want to understand more about that later, you ask why to use state here. Wouldn't it be better just to use one variable? Then the AI is going to explain you, like, the React has a state management. Every time that this function runs, it would reset the variable. So that's why we need the React state management through, and I trust that this explanation is good. Okay. This would be introduction to React. We are kind of going to skip the whole React drama here and just use the AI to guide us into this. Okay, need to fix the use client. So I do have the code, the whole code, if you want to copy it later. Yeah. It's missing one thing, actually. It's missing this use client here in the top. Let me fix this. Sorry about this. Missing this single use client. Now you would have a page like this. I enter my name, like Matheus, and I submit, and I would have this component appearing after clicking submit. Okay, this is the power of React. It's different from a static HTML. It can do different things depending on how you code the page. Now let's join with what we saw yesterday. Remember that we had a CLI that would call OpenAI and would use the API connection to OpenAI to generate an answer for us. So let me just skip this whole block. Like I said, we're going to skip the React grammar now because of the time. We are going to implement AI features in the application just like we did yesterday. But instead of using Python API calls, we are going to do it inside TypeScript. So we are going to use OpenAI as an inference provider. we are going to use the secret key that we created yesterday because of like this computation is built. We wouldn't be able to call OpenAI for free. So we need to pass the secret key so that OpenAI know that we are calling it. For authenticating that, we would need to put this API key in the header. This kind of call, low-level call, would require some programming, some expertise from us to do in the front end. It's good that we have a library. You see, I have this library here. Yes, the OpenAI TypeScript library that abstracts all of that for us. So we are going to just import OpenAI in our project, and it can connect with TypeScript, and it's going to connect us to OpenAI endpoints just like we did yesterday. It is possible to use OpenAI for, wait, what is it? Here, it is possible to use OpenAI for text generation. There are many endpoints that, just namely, so you know in the future. You can use it for text generation, summarization, chat completion, You can use OpenAI for image generation with DALL-E, like the same API, you just change a bit the models that you're going to call. For vision, you can pass images and ask information about these images with the OpenAI APIs too, like the tail of information from the image generation, from the image that you pass and all. Audio to text and text to audio. There are many endpoints that you can use for inference there. So I'm going to show how to create a simple chat page with this same page TSX, but connected to the OpenAI APIs. You have the API keys that you created yesterday, right? So let's use it here. Would be like the last exercise for today. Since we had the break before, we're going to end a little later today. And I'm going to show you how to deploy this to a hosting server. So if you build your home page here inside Next.js and deploy, today you're going to have it live for demonstrating your ideas for your friends. Okay, so let's do it. I'm going to copy this whole code inside my page.tsx. I'm missing my mouse here. And we're going to start with it like this. Just like this, this chat page, okay? If you want to code along, just copy and paste the code there, going to be here. What did you ask a question?
No, I was saying like, it's like the corner, the button to say copy.
Yeah, but here I don't have this button, I guess.
I mean, without it, no.
Yeah, I was looking for that earlier. In web version I do have, but here I don't. Mouse makes a lot of difference. So I'm going to start with this working version. I'm going to stop the server here. Funny, where is my server? Because it's here. No, where is my server? Just have it somewhere. I have it running somewhere, but I don't know where. Where my project is running. Let me kill this and open again. That will kill the server. Let's see. Yes, it was there somewhere. Let me open it again. If you have your server working, you can just kill it with Ctrl+C or Command+C. In my situation here, I killed the whole cursor. Let me see, I can run it from here. And then I'm going to run this command for installing the OpenAI npm package. This command, npm install OpenAI. It is similar on how we installed things with Python yesterday. Here we are using a node project, so everything is going to be stored inside this folder called node models. Yesterday we were using Python, everything was installed inside that virtual environment folder, .vm. Just different ways for package managers to work with dependencies in different environments. NPM sometimes takes a while for me. I don't know why. I'm going to use it Bun. But don't freak out with this. It's just like a different package manager that is way, way faster than NPM. So I installed it. It is there. I'm going to open a new window here, because I'm going to add this .env to the root of the project. You can even copy that .env that you had from yesterday to this project when you are running this. You can copy and paste your .env for this folder. Just make sure that you have it in the same level as your package.json. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay. And then we're going to create a folder called API, and then a folder called chat inside API, and then a file called route.ts inside chat. It needs to be exactly this instruction, because this chat is going to be a route for the API that we're going to call. And if you don't follow this structure, this exercise is not going to work. Okay, so you are going to create a new file, side app. You're going to create a new file here that is called API folder, then chat folder route.ts. Now it's a TypeScript file. There is no HTML mixed with a TypeScript. Now it's a normal TypeScript file that is going to do a server call. And the server call that we're going to do is here in the documentation. It is the same one that OpenAI suggests us. We just import OpenAI, and then we create this call to the OpenAI provider using this model GPT-4 or Mini or whatever model you want for creating that response. Okay. We did something very similar with Python yesterday. This is just replicating the same behavior in TypeScript. When I do this, when I set this route inside my application for making this call, Next.js is already making sure that this part of the application is not given for the end user, for client side, because otherwise they would have access for your API key. You don't want to do that, right? You want to keep it in a backend, and you want your user to be able to interact with the front end only. So this whole separation is already done by the framework, by Next.js, so that when you consume this call from the page, now is the UI itself. Let's see if I can select the things correctly here. Yeah, it's working. I'm going to call here. I'm going to call this route that I have created. I'm going to call this API chat route that I have created for asking the OpenAI to answer these messages inside my own application. So if I ask something for it now, I need to run it. It's not running. I need to run npm. Let me use Bun. Bun is way faster. Bun run dev instead of npm run dev. It's going to host the application. It's going to compile it for me. I'm going to access it here. And now we're going to see that the front end that we did can now interact with OpenAI. It's going to take a little while. Hello, how can I assist you today? So if you have an AI idea, something that requires AI inference now, you can already implement with this. Okay. Let's mix the two things, like using cursor plus using this. Why do you feel that it's missing this page? Ideas?
The transcript.
The chat history.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've asked Cursor to add the chat history to this page. I can go take a coffee, take a little walk, play some video game, listen to some music. Okay, no time for all of that because it was super fast. And if it did not hallucinate, we have it working. Hello, send. Hello, how can I assist you today?
No files.
Add the feature of loading files. Probably this is going to need to tweak the API too. Let's see if the agent get that correctly. Probably not.
For a bunch of packages.
Yeah, it's taking a little while. Oh, pasted a bunch of stuff. Okay. Let's see. Well, we have an upload file button. Let me see. Let me upload like my company logo. And what do you see in the image? Probably this is not going to work. Well, at least. Yeah, okay. At least the UI is working. You see, the UI is working, but they are not using the model. So I can even add like I can add to context this route.ts, and I can say now update the API call to allow sending files. Now it might hallucinate a lot, no, but you see how the flow would go, right? You don't need to know exactly how to code each of those things, like file upload and all, and display. Each of those small things that are taking seconds for the AI usually take a couple hours. Like this beautiful UI that you upload and it shows it. Unless you know how to do it at the top of your head, it would take a couple hours doing this. Sometimes a day if you struggle with it. At least half an hour if you know how to do it well. So these kind of things can speed a lot of the development flow. Still, you need to know what the AI is doing. Like I had to remember that in the OpenAI documentation they have a different API call to pass files, especially images. Don't know what the AI is going to do here, but okay. It changed the page.tsx and added the backend in the route.tsx. Maybe, yeah. Well, it seems it did. I had low expectations. Let's see. I have some memes here in the picture folder. Like, what is this? What do you see in this image?
I got an error.
Oh, almost. Yeah.
Instead of an AI-based text model, I'm unable to view or interact with it. Just trying to. Yeah, but all you have to do is we can change the model to full.
Yeah. But you see, the AI is not ready to take our jobs yet. Yet. So you don't know the way, brother. Okay, and last but not least, let me undo some of these changes. Let me reject the file. Let me undo this. Reject the file. So I have the older version here. Okay, this is good. I'm going to now deploy this live because this is in my local host. I cannot send for people. Wait, what's happening? Wait. I cannot send this for people. Let me stop this and reject also. Wait. I don't know what's going on here. This is in my local host. I cannot show that for people. If I want to show this for friends and for early users, maybe even for investors, I would need to host this with a hosting service, with GitHub Pages, with Netfly, with S3, IPFS. I would suggest Vercel because it is dead simple to use that with the CLI. Now that we have Next.js, we even have like this year and all, we can just install this tool called Vercel. I have it installed already in my computer. Maybe it's going to update. Let me stop this server. You can create a free account on it. Don't know if you who doesn't have an account in Vercel yet. Most of you. You can create a free account on it on any time. You install this CLI, and then you can enter any project with Cursor, with whatever you use for building this, and you can use Vercel to deploy your application. You would need to add the environments correctly for it to work, and then at the end you just do this command Vercel, and it would deploy all of your application like in 10 seconds, 20 seconds. It would take care of all of that for you to host for other people. The homework for today, this group exercise, is creating a web page and deploying the application to Vercel or any other hosting that you want. So it's basically picking the last step that we did. Like we learned a lot, but the homework is small. It's picking this last step that we did, create an Next.js project or a simple project, create your web page, like the front end for your web page there, and then you deploy with Vercel with this command. You're going to create an account with Vercel. I'm going to stop here because my NPM is super slow for some reason. I'm going to use Vercel to link the project to a project that I have in my account. So I would log in here and now. I'm going to click yes, it would continue. For example, I would use my own personal account for that. I already have a project. Okay, in this case, I can use. And here I can just do the command Vercel that is going to deploy this to a URL. I'm going to upload this code. I can even put that in the GitHub to use Git. Whenever I commit it, I'll automatically push this code here. I have a preview version, and I can have a production version in a while that I can share for other people. It's building, it's online. Depending on the amount of users you have, the amount of things that you do, they would start charging you like a lot, like thousands of dollars. Be mindful of that. But a simple paid plan is like $20 per month. And for these things that we're doing, the bootcamp is even for free. So you could host a demonstration version of a project for free here with them. Okay. So it's literally idea for websiting in 2 hours. Let's wait for a little, and it's going to complete. Have you used all the web hosting solutions in the past? What do you usually use for your projects?
I use Godin.
Okay.
Google Cloud Platform Firebase is really easy to use.
Firebase. You integrate with GitLab or GitHub or?
So I use GitHub to house the code, like version control it, but I always had trouble linking it, so I would clone the repository.
Manually, yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just best I go I had, but I'm sure there's a better way.
No, yeah. Here we would have a repository that is already connected to GitHub. So any push that I do, Vercel is going to automatically do a build here. So it's very, very convenient. So it is deployed. I can open this website now. I can show for my friends. I can show for my early clients. Deployment but found. Maybe I miss, but this one is working. Like this preview one is working. So this application that we just did on a local machine, it is online. Now all of you can interact with it. It's missing one environment that I did not send, but the whole page is here. Could be the landing page of your website, of your idea. Okay. So starting tomorrow, before the lesson tomorrow, I would love to see all of your project descriptions and a website link. And if you don't know how to code a website, you don't need to know how to code a website. AI can do that for you. Okay. Sounds good? Well, this is it for today. Thank you. Eager to see what you're going to build. Okay.
No, I don't know.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.